What's up to my people of the Booge? It's Friday night, it's 7:30, so let's dance.
Is there another agenda at play? That there are dark forces. Is there another agenda at play?
The deep state. They got me. The deep state.
Is there another agenda at play?
All right. Ladies and gentlemen and everything in between. Welcome, welcome. Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome to the people in the live chat. It's Friday night. It's 7:30 as per usual. It's you're here with yours truly, my people of the Booge. Is how we're starting these things currently, isn't it? On the live show. Yes, we are live this evening. Just in case any of you are wondering, this is a live show. I haven't pre-recorded it this time. We're very much live here in the flesh at 7:30. How are you all doing? How are we doing in the live chats? Hope you're all good. Who have we got in the live chat tonight? We've got Alan Rogers. We've got Hornet Gamer. Richard Marsden. Diz. Mighty Diz. Monitoring the chats. Yuri's in the house. What's going on? Jock Git. How you doing, Jock? We've got another Richard. We've got two Richards in here tonight. I hope you're all faring well. I hope you're surviving, if not thriving. Enjoying, if not enduring your week. And what a week it has been, guys. Hasn't it? We've got loads to talk about tonight from the Greens' victory in Gorton and Denton, that by-election. The Greens' victory to the humiliating loss in Goodwin. Matthew Goodwin, that is, friend of the show. Thoughts and prayers go out to him. Commiserations to the least likable content creator out there, I think he is. That's an award that it feels like he should or could certainly be nominated for. The least likable content creator in the United Kingdom, I think. What do we think, people in the live chat? Do you think he's the most hateable, the least likable content creator? I mean, Bonnie Blue is pretty unpopular, isn't she? Where does she pitch in? Is she above him or below him, so to speak? Count Dacula is, well, you know, not universally loved, particularly, I don't think. Who else? Who could rival Matt Goodwin as least likable content creator? Because that's what he is, right? That's what he does. He does lots of selfie cam videos, campaign videos, him talking to his thing. He does his blog, monstrously successful far-right anti-immigration blog. He's a content creator, but just not a very popular one, not a very likable one. So yeah, Bonnie Blue, is up there, isn't she? Count Dankula, also sort of up there. Who else? Who else is an unlikable content creator that could rival Matthew Goodwin? People in the live chat. Who were the guys that got arrested a few years ago now for putting out a video of them burning a model of Grenfell down? Do you remember that? That was their content that they created. Or was it like they were dressed up as Grenfell or something? My memory escapes me a little bit. Maybe they dressed up as Grenfell for like Halloween or something, and then they put out a video about it. I don't know. Somewhere between that lot. between Bonnie Blue, Count Dankula, the Grenfell video guys, and the ISIS video editing teams. Somewhere between that lot. The least popular, most hateable content creators out there. Matt Goodwin's content creator career pitches in. Somewhere in that lot. Substackademic. Professor Matthew Goodwin. I mean, I'm not really a Bonnie Blue guy. I'm not really interested in what she's selling. But if it was a choice out of watching a Bonnie Blue vid or Matthew Goodwin, I would begrudgingly sit through Bonnie Blue's content. I would. If it was the choice out of those two, I would just take a deep breath and I would just sit there and I would observe a clearly damaged woman take a shot in each hole. And I would be like, well, you know, I mean, at least she's enjoying herself. she seems to be enjoying herself, is what I would think. I'm not sure Goodwin's literally ever even smiled in his life. I'm not sure that's happened. Has he ever smiled? Does anybody know? People in the chat? Has anyone ever caught Matt Goodwin smiling? So yeah, I'd be like, you know, at least she's enjoying herself. And at least we know that she's not a racist, right? Because, you know, the guys, plural, that she's doing it there. But anyway, it's not important. So anyway, it's a bit weird drawing a parallel between those two, between Bonnie Blue and the Reform Party's performance at the Gorton by-election, because Bonnie Blue came out in support of Reform, didn't she, a couple of months ago, if you will recall. I mean, it seemed like a bit of a weird pairing to me, to be honest, at the time. But then, you know, for somebody who charges money to see her fornicate with teenagers, I mean, what even is a weird pairing anymore, really? What even is that to that sort of person? I was thinking at the time, though, like when she came, she just did this big thing. She said, I would vote for Farage, I would vote for Reform if there was an election tomorrow. You go back, Google it. It's really quite bizarre to see a porn star come out in support of Reform, of fascists, of the far right, of the mass deportation crowd. I would vote for Nigel Farage, I think. I would vote for Reform, she said. I was thinking at the time, you know, it's quite weird for those two to be in cahoots with each other. I mean, I don't know, maybe there is a bit of a healthy overlap there, considering they both want to fuck the country. Hey! We got one joke, guys. One joke out tonight. We've hit quota. Boom. So anyway, why am I talking about this? So Reform, you know, Matt Goodwin, they lost up in Gorton. You will, of course, be aware because you are well-informed, politically astute people that tune in for this show. They lost up in Gorton and Denton is the other half of that constituency, isn't it? Come on, get with the programme, Aid. Jesus, wake up. Cheers, by the way. They lost up in Gorton. That was Matt Goodwin's reality that he woke up to this morning, which if you're new to the channel, or indeed the podcast, you should be absolutely aware that the far right and her chances, like Matt Goodwin, Nigel Farage, Donald Trump, or whoever, when reality doesn't go their way, we often sort of engage in this idea of the fantasy nightmare, don't we? Where whoever it is, if it's Trump, Goodwin, Farage, whoever, if they can't deal with reality, they just make up some conspiracy theory to explain it. Instead, make it make sense to them. You know, like it can't possibly be that I'm an unlikable, Islamophobic, exploitative piece of shit. It has to be that the people of Gorton and Denton have rigged this somehow. That is the only explanation. And Reform have form with this, of course, with their debanking bullshit, the two-tier police thing that they've helped to perpetuate. The Lawless London campaign was another one. And now here we are with the latest instance of this. And indeed of Farage fatigue that's been evidenced over the last few weeks, where they've had no growth in polling. Restore Britain, Tommy Ewok Powell, isn't it? Everybody's calling him. Tommy Ewok Powell Robinson, nipping at their heels. Just as a side note, actually, I saw a funny fucking exchange the other day on one of the socials where somebody called him Ewok Powell. And one of his supporters was like, look, if you want to be taken seriously as a political commentator, you need to show some respect, all right? You might not agree with his politics and his ideology and his past or whatever, but you need to at least call him by his name. And the guy was like, what the fuck are you even talking about? Not even he calls himself by his own name. Like, these people live on another fucking planet, don't they? You know, where Tommy's not Stephen, he's Tommy. He's not a thug and an activist, he's a journalist. And they're not seeking asylum, they're invaders. The crime levels haven't gone down, Britain is lawless. But meanwhile, you guys, you cannot identify how you like, because that is a step too far for their imaginations. Like, get some sleep. Please, will you get some sleep, lads? But yes, Reformer have continued to suffer from a case of Farage fatigue over the last few weeks, haven't they? They've continued to experience a flattening of their poll lead, which is quite positive news. If you're one of the last remaining 17 people in the formerly United Kingdom who still possess a brain, empathy and compassion, it's quite good news to see them fritter and falter like that. But Labour aren't picking up that poll loss, as far as we can see, are they? Meanwhile, the Greens are having a whale of a time, aren't they? They're enjoying themselves more than like Bonnie Blue enjoys herself on her content. The Greens are having a good time at the moment. The Tories, meanwhile, are I don't know really how the Tories are doing. Does anybody in the live chat know how the Tories are doing at the moment? Richard Marston's dropped a super chat. He says, Hannah Spencer, the Green Party candidate who's just won in Gorton. Hannah Spencer blew me away. Her speech made me weep because that was hope. And Goodwin looked like a Thunderbird's chunder blunder. Yeah. I only caught a bit of her speech, but I also thought it was pretty good. And I also love this sort of... is it an attack line? Or is it just responding to attack lines? Where they say, you know, how is it extreme? Because Labour are characterising them as extreme. We were fighting on both flanks, the hard right and the extreme left. And they're like, how is it extreme to just want you to like tax rich people effectively? Like, how is it extreme to want to have a grown-up conversation about drugs, about rehabilitation, about treating people instead of jailing them? None of these things are extreme. These are all policies that most sensible people, probably evidenced in polling, would vehemently support. None of this shit is extreme. So yeah, where are the Tories? Where are the Tories at, guys? Where are the Tories? I mean, it's a bit of a joke that they're even like Kemi Badenoch even gets to lead PMQs anymore. Like, does that seem weird to anybody else? That Kemi Badenoch is still de facto hosting Prime Minister's questions, holding the Prime Minister to account as though she's sort of tacitly the alternative? Like, it's a bit weird, isn't it? It's a little bit strange. Kemi Badenoch is still up there as His Majesty's, sorry, I keep forgetting the Queen's dead. His Majesty's opposition. Like, why is Kemi Badenoch, whose party are now level pegging with the Greens, according to YouGov earlier, but who are not, the Tories are not winning any by-elections, in case you were wondering. They are losing donors as well. MPs, councillors are deserting them. Like, it's a bit weird that she's still positioned in Parliament as a voice of authority every Wednesday lunchtime, isn't it? Like, I was doing some analysis on this earlier. This is quite fun. Did you know, guys, people at home, people on the live chat, people on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, did you know that the last time that the Tories were as low in the polls as they are now was in the immediate aftermath of the Liz Truss and Kwesi Kwarteng thing? Did you know that? That's how bad things are getting for the Conservatives. Like, that was 19% when that happened. Oh, fuck. Richard Marsden's dropped another. Oh, fuck. I should turn the volume up on that. Sorry, it's going through my earphones when you super chat. Richard Marsden says Tories lost a deposit, 700 votes. Progressives took 75% of the vote. Yeah. I mean, it's good times. It's a good result for progressive people, for left-leaning people. But yes, in fact, look, I'm just going to turn my volume down in my headphones a little bit, because that was a little bit loud, guys. There we go. Live TV and all that. But yes, did you know that the last time that the Tories were polling this bad was in the immediate aftermath of Liz Truss and Kwesi Kwarteng's much fabled mini-budget? They were 19% when that all imploded. They're actually at 18% this week. Which is like, they're 1% lower. They're even worse than when Truss and Kwarteng horse-fucked the economy. I mean, how bad must that feel? You know, that's a hell of a meter read. Like, you think of the economy-destroying fuckery that Truss and Kwarteng got up to, and the quite reasonable, predictable impact that had on Tory polling at the time. Millions of people in response, in reaction to the changes that they made. That uncosted budget, uncosted tax cuts. Millions of people going like, Lizzie, what the fuck? What the fuck are you doing, love? I was down with the vapid culture war shit, dismissing anyone with an opinion left of Oswald Molesley as a tofu-gargling Islington trans bastard. I was okay with that. But I don't want to pay hundreds of pounds more on my mortgage, love. Hate shouldn't cost this much, Lizzie. Lots of people were thinking and abandoning the Tories. Then, of course, their bills exploded. Inflation exploded. And people after that went to YouGov, and YouGov were like, who would you vote for if there was an election tomorrow? And they were like, well, maybe there's another way. In response to that, quite reasonable. But imagine being Kemi Badenoch right now and polling underneath that. And you haven't even really done anything. You haven't done anything like that bad. You're less popular than Lizzie. Like, what the fuck? And you didn't even do anything. I mean, that's a hell of a hit to the ego, isn't it? less popular than Lizzie. Maybe even Bonnie Blue and Matt Goodwin. I don't know. I haven't seen the stats on it. Have you guys in the chat heard this latest conspiracy theory, though, from the Reform stables in response to the by-election? That was sort of what I was getting at before I got distracted by my own blether again. Reform's Matt Goodwin lost. And so immediately they were forced to dream up this a fantasy nightmare, this conspiracy theory about family voting, guys. Woo! That's the latest one. I mean, it was all over the news earlier. When I was reading the sort of reactions, I was watching the Sky News stuff this morning. They already had it like locked in the chamber, ready to go. Family voting. We're seeing lots of voting irregularity, and we suspect a lot of family voting, guys. I mean, it doesn't make much sense to me. Like, is this something that we're supposed to be deeply concerned about? That sometimes families venture out together down to the polling station and then maybe cast their votes like one after the other. Maybe they exchange thoughts and feelings as they queue up to what is a political exercise. They might talk about politics. I don't know, but it doesn't make any sense to me. Like, why that would be suddenly some big issue. How does that make any sense? But we are dealing with a political class of people who all supported Brexit. So, you know, sense and logic left the building a long time ago. They're very much optional boxes to tick for these people. I think the idea behind it, gun to head, if you forced me to try to articulate what the issue is or might be, I think the idea is that the result is somehow not legitimate because families were alleged to have gone in together and conspired as who to vote for. That they had discussed it. They'd said, oh, you vote for this person and we'll vote for that, or maybe you're in this ward, so make sure that you vote. Like, you know, it's tactical voting, I guess, but I think that's the idea. That's the concept that they're going for. That's the best recourse that they can come up with, I think, if the morning news rounds is to be believed. That's the best explanation for how or why the Greens trounced them, absolutely buried them. It's definitely not that the Greens had a positive campaign, that it's quite a left-leaning area, historically Labour, that Matt Goodwin had those old tweets taking the piss out of Manchester, that Farage himself won in Clacton, but he's failed to attend any, like not even one of the Clacton constituency meetings about their regeneration, so I read. Too busy flying off to the Chagos Islands, filming himself being refused entry. It couldn't possibly be that another party's campaign had resonated better. It has to be the fantasy nightmare, doesn't it? It has to be some nefarious fuckery that robbed the good people of Gorton and Denton of the real winner, Matt Goodwin. Family voting, guys. Can you believe it? I don't think it could ever happen here, but oh my goodness. I was saying earlier, I don't think we should rule out that that the underlying problem with families voting together is that people like Farage and Goodwin, both divorced, so I'm led to believe, simply resent the idea of families who still talk to one another. Like, it's too much of a foreign concept to them. Like, I like the idea, and I have no idea if this is actually, you know, the case or not, but I am so here for the idea that the only reason Reform and their disciples have such an issue with this is because they all spend their lives babbling about boats and invasions and shit, and now their own families have cut them off. You know, they get text through for, oh, fuck this guy. Jesus Christ. Have you caught up with him recently? Have you caught up with Matt? He's frog-boiled as fuck. You know? He used to just research the far right. And then he just spent, I don't know, one too many afternoons having cups of tea with fascists, and he fucked around and got radicalised by it. Fucking moron. Flew a little bit too close to the sun, that one. So yes, can't be dealing with Matt anymore. Archive. I love the idea that Matt Goodwin's been archived by his own mum and his close family members. And now he's all butthurt at other families that are still able to talk to one another. Head out and vote together. Well, he's like, picking up his phone. He's like, oi, mum. Do you want to come and vote with me? Then his mum gets the alert, like, in the archive folder. Yeah. Oh, do I want to come vote with you? Matt, I don't even want to spend Christmas with you. And send back in the archive. Farage has reported this family voting nonsense to the local police force, apparently. I've got another super chat, have I? Viper Scott says, I left a comment earlier. Let me see if I can scroll back and have a look. Sorry, I'm really shit at the setting this all up. Hold on. Let me scroll back a bit. Viper Scott. Chat here, the thing at polling station staff would have broken up folk going into the booth. I've done staffing polling stations many years ago, so it's all bullcrap, Aid. Okay. I mean, look, I'm pretty sure that they wouldn't let people, like, openly conspire. Like, that seems like entry-level fucking intern-level skill set. Like, working in a polling station. But they got to say something, haven't they? They've got to say something. They have to dream up some sort of conspiracy thing, debanking, two-tier policing. It can't just be that they've been shit. It can't be like... The simplest explanation is usually the true one. It can't be that. It has to be something weird and wonderful. Where was I? Oh God. Sorry, my tech is all over the place tonight. Right, where did I get to? So he voted. He reported the family voting nonsense to the police. Of course, he did. Crybabying off. This is the same Farage, of course, who only a few years back was celebrating the visage of former mining town Labour types, Labour families, all heading out to support UKIP and later the Brexit Party. And so what will happen now, guys, now that he's dreamed up this conspiracy theory, family voting, rigged the vote, etc., etc.? Well, now the police will look into it. They'll find absolutely fuck all. Farage will say that is itself a part of the conspiracy theory, or it's like, two-tier policing or whatever, and we'll all go around again, won't we? So, what else has happened this week? What else has been going on? Guys, should we check the poll? Should we check the poll on Funk 27? Here we go. This is my website, by the way. We talked about this last week. I relaunched it. If you want to sign up to it. Look, this week's top member, Ashley Wilson, signed up via YouTube. What's up, Ashley? Hope you're well. We've got some new members joined as well. Mick Whitnell signed up last week. Travel Multiculture. DCR 1975 rejoined the cult. Last meetup was the other week. End of January. Next one will be in the summer, probably June or July. We have our own Discord chat if you want to jump into that as well. I usually jump in there after the show on Friday too. This week's poll, though, on Funk 27, funk-27.co.uk, which is free to join, by the way. I should say that it's free. This week's poll was, will Starmer resign after the Gorton by-election? What do we think, guys? We got a 100% no vote there. 100% of us are certain that he won't resign. This will not bring him down. I don't know what to make of that. It's pretty depressing, isn't it? Unanimous no. This will not finish him off, people are saying. I mean, maybe that was a bit of an easy one. You know, how do we think, people in the chat, how do we think Blue Labour are handling this whole thing? Do we think they're processing this well? Do we think they're reflecting? Is there any reflection up there in the upper echelons of the Labour Party? Or do we think it's more like Prime Minister? It appears that we've lost up in Gorton and Denton. And then Keir Starmer's like, oh, yeah, bollocks. What happened? What do we do? And then the aide is like, well, it appears that, people found your Blue Labour, your island of strangers, your boasting about deporting the migrants, your attempt to slash people's benefits, your failure to tax the wealthy, all of that stuff a little bit uninspiring versus the change that you promised people. Oh, all right, okay. So we were thinking that maybe you should consider, Yep, I hear you, says Keir Starmer. Very, don't worry. Message received. Loud and clear. And then the aide is like, okay, all right. So we're in agreement then. You're going to have to start to act like you are well, obviously what we've got to do now is, we've lost a lot of votes to reform, so we should have gone just a harder on the boats, shouldn't we, and the bloody foreigners. What can we do for the May local elections? How can we convince people that we are a more hard alternative to reform? And the aide is like, Prime Minister, I'm not sure that's the lesson that we should be taking from this poll data. And Keir Starmer's like, well, we should... I've got it, guys. Hear me out. We should litter the channel with more sewage to turn off the boats, to get them to just turn around willingly. And if they don't do that, we should put icebergs in there, sharp icebergs. And scissors. We should litter scissors throughout the English Channel. We should pop the dinghies. We should literally murder some migrants and broadcast it live. We've just got to get those reform voters back Labour way. And the aide, of course, would be like... wouldn't it just be easier to do a wealth tax? Wouldn't it? That's always the question that always pops in my mind. Is like, wouldn't it just be easier to do the nice thing? Wouldn't it just be like, why bother going for like the far right flag vote when it's worse, it's shitter? It's like they're angrier at you. They ideologically hate you. They're harder to win over. Like the easiest way to dig yourself out of this poll hole is just do the nice thing. Just do the nice thing. Just be a bit nicer, a bit better. What else has happened this week? What else has been going on? People in the live chat. Jock Git says, did you see Clive Lewis's comments? I didn't, but I'm going to hazard a guess. I'm going to predict that they were pretty scathing. What's up to El Butterfly Effect, by the way? How you doing? What's up to Mojo? Joining us in the chat tonight. Hope you are well. Tommy Lee Cadden's in the chat. He says, I don't think Starmer and co are saying that right now. I reckon they are thinking, how can we get voters from the Greens? I was sort of taking the piss a bit. But look, if we are to judge Labour's future on their recent past, at every single juncture, they have just, said, look, we're not changing. They're basically a centre-right party, right? They're a centre-right party who are more ideologically aligned with your David Camerons and your Theresa Mays than anything close to a sort of, what would have been a Rayner administration or, a Gordon Brown ideology, in my opinion. Others may disagree. What else has been going on this week, though? What else has emerged and spaffed its way over your timelines, your algos, your populist political peripheries, so to speak? I've got a tap dancing tosser award I'd like to share with you this week, actually. Are we familiar with the tap dancing tosser awards? I hope that we are. Long-time viewers, veteran viewers and listeners will be very familiar with this. This is an award that I like to dish out when I feel that somebody has performed their bellendry to such a standard that they deserve some sort of statuette award thing. You ready? It's the Tap Dancing Tosser Award.
Well,
that's
absolutely pathetic.
Okay. So I see Mike Graham's got a live show. We're just going to get straight into it. There's no build-up. There's no, guesswork. Mike Graham has a live show. Not live as in, this is live tonight. I mean live, an audience, a venue. That is what he's doing. I believe it's in May. I think it's in May. He's got this big live gig. I took a look on Ticketmaster, actually. I think I've still got the link here. Hold on. Here you go. Mike Graham, tickets. Ticketmaster. Mike Graham and friends take over the O2 Shepherd's Bush Empire. How about that shit? Yeah. Looks as though there's still plenty of tickets available. So don't worry. Don't worry, guys. There is minimal chance of surge pricing here. Mike Graham. Come and see me accidentally post a racism live, guys. That's presumably what the show entails. Pay £40 to come through a Ticketmaster turnstile and take a seat and see me claim that you can grow concrete to a probably attended Shepherd's Bush Empire. Did it say it was O2 Shepherd's Bush Empire? It's beyond embarrassing, really, isn't it? The state of this country, the state of British media, that you can get sacked for refusing to cooperate with the Talk TV Rupert Murdoch investigation into racist posts on your Facebook. You can get, after that, immediately invited to be a speaker at right-wing rallies. You can have Dan Wootton set up an independent show for you to host on YouTube. And you can get back to doing live stuff in 6 months of what would have previously been a career-ending misdeed. Wouldn't it? Only a few years ago. Nobody has any fucking accountability anymore today? No? You could just say whatever? Now, no matter how obvious the distaste, the racism, the hate speech, no matter what you say, there's no accountability, no repercussions, it's fine. Which, leads me to say to you guys, in that case, in the absence of accountability, in the absence of repercussions, well, then let me just be the first to say that I hope there's a train strike that night and that Mike Graham has a heart attack, but not a big one. I don't want him to have a big one, not a deathy one, not a deathy heart attack one, just a bit of a scare. I hope that happens, and I hope he makes a full recovery, too, obviously. I hope that. I don't want him to totally fuck off, which is more than can be said for what he told the multicultural people of colour on that tube carriage on the Facebook post he got sacked for. But I'm not wishing death on anyone, right? This is not that. This is not the uncivilised left. We're not wishing death on anybody on this show. I'm just saying, What am I saying? I'm just saying that in the absence of accountability and, you know, in a time where you can say whatever you like, no matter how distasteful and hurtful to other people that you're talking about, I'm just saying I hope the gig goes terribly for him. I hope that. I hope he slops a double bacon cheeseburger into his fat mouth and his ticker tubes kind of struggle with it. And there's a train strike too. I hope the whole thing gets cancelled. I hope that happens. And an ambulance gets called for him and it's all very scary, but it turns out okay. I hope that's how that gig goes. I wish a happy ending for that story, you see? I'm being nice. I told you it's easier to be nice, didn't I? Katie Hopkins is also doing live stuff now, I found out this week. She's trying to make money on the live circuit too. Apparently there's a big market for, you know, hate speech and racisms and all of the rest of it live. So yeah, she's doing a live tour. Get that live circuit loot in. Although in her case, it's not really making money, I don't think. You know, like her ticket sales link probably sends the money straight to Jack Monroe. I'd imagine. Like even if it's sold out everywhere in the UK and like she's scaled up the venues and she sells out like Wembley Arena and Birmingham NEC. Imagine like then at the end of the year when all the fucking lists come out, you know, the top 10 movie of this year or the top 10 actors of that one or whatever. And then like one of them comes out like the top 5 biggest grossing stand-up comedian tours or something in the UK for 2026. It's like number 3, Mickey Flanagan, number 2, Jimmy Carr, and then like, you look over to your mate, you're like, oh, who's the number 1? Jack Monroe had the most profitable stand-up tour. That I didn't even know she did stand-up. That's how lucrative that tour could be, and yet it doesn't matter how much she sells out. Presumably that money would need to be funneled back to Jack Monroe. Who's going to see Mike Graham? Anybody in the live chat tempted to go and see Mike Graham? Anyone else tempted to go and grab a ticket? I'm tempted to sort of like, you know, crowdfund one. You know, get everyone to chip in £1. And then I'll go along and heckle. You know, I'm tempted to do that. I said this a while ago when I was just sort of, you know, merely hypothesizing his return to the live scene. I was like, you know, if he does come back and like he starts doing that night again that he used to do, which is what this is. I said like a bunch of us should go down there and we should dress up as multicultural people. Like a Buddhist over here, and then a Muslim guy over there, and a couple of black women, a couple of black dudes over here. And we should all come in, like sit in the front row with our suitcases, right? Just like the Facebook post that he took a picture of with the row of the tube seats with all the people with their suitcases. And he's complaining about foreigners or whatever. And we should just sit there exactly like them and heckle him throughout. And then when he finally loses his rag, which will happen, he'll literally tell us to fuck off all over again. Then we should heckle him back. We should go, oh, should we all just go home, Mike? Should we fuck off back to where we came from? Should we? I'd be up for that. I would be up for that. Although I'm not sure I could sit through the whole gig. So, you know, it'd be worse than Body Blue. Fucking Matt Goodwin's Substack, wouldn't it? Anyway, Mike Graham, please take a bow. You are this week's tap dancing tosser.
Well, that's absolutely pathetic.
Okay. How are we doing in the live chat? We good? Got another 10 or 15 minutes. Gareth says, where is Jack Monroe these days? I've not heard for years. Yeah, I don't know what Jack Monroe's doing. I used to know people who knew her, but I haven't heard of her or from them. For some reason, I feel like she might be, what's it called? Non-binary. Is that right? I feel like she might be non-binary. She might be non-binary. I can't. I'm so fucking ignorant. I feel like they might be non-binary. Sorry. Right. Should we do a weird news story? People in the live chat, you ready for a weird news story? Should we round off with a weird bloody news story? Mojo Sabian says, mind you saying that, who haven't I had an argument with? Chris Packham. I haven't had an argument with him, mainly because he's awesome. Who is Mojo Sabian? He's had an argument with Jack Monroe. I see. Well, you know, I hope you managed to resolve it. Right, let's get into this goddamn weird news story, shall we? Let me get my ducks in a row here. So if this is like your first time tuning in, and it appears to be a few new people each week at the moment. I think we had like 1,000 views on like last week's live show. So if that's you, if this is your first time or times like tuning in, welcome. Pull up a pew, grab yourself a beer. We're here I was going to say every Friday night. Sometimes I pre-record and then stream it out. But it's, 7:30 every Friday. There's always something here for you to tune into and jump into the live chat. Welcome. But if it is your first couple of times tuning in, what we like to do on a Friday night is that, there's a load of chaos and despair and hysteria and racism and flags. But we like to round it off with a positive news story. With something that's a little bit weird. Something to lift our moods against the backdrop of dark, nefarious shit and a head-in-the-sand Labour Party who will continue to chase the flag of votes. There's indeed unmedicated morons who are doing live shows in venues I could only dream of performing in. But it's fine. It's fine, guys. Let's stay positive. We have this weird news story to lift our crestfallen moods. So this is a story from Fox News, one of my favourite news outlets. You probably worked that out. There is an actor who shot to fame about 15 to 20 years ago, I want to say. He got cast in a couple of trashy teen thrillers, and then he was in these sort of big budget explosion toy adaptation movies, Hollywood vehicles, Transformers, right? The Transformers movies. He got to walk the red carpet and... Sorry, let me get my lights up there. That's it. He got to walk the red carpet and hang out with Megan Fox in her prime. Oh, my lord. That must have been nice. What a beautiful woman Megan Fox is. The dude had it all. This dude we're going to talk about tonight. And then it all sort of went a bit weird. Shia LaBeouf. LaBeouf? I don't know how to say it. I'm going to say LaBeouf. Should we stick with LaBeouf? Shia LaBeouf. What happened to Shia? So since then, since the red carpet, since Megan Fox, let me bring you up to speed. A little bit of a refresher for you. So in 2013, after the Transformers stuff, he releases his own film, right? You know how these big budget blockbuster guys, they want to go independent, they're still quite artsy, they're thespians, they want to explore and express. Well, he releases his own film independently, and a lot of people see it and they're like, this is mad similar to this other guy's idea and comic book, I think it was, that he had since adapted into something else. And so he gets accused by a load of people of plagiarism, riddled with plagiarism accusations. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes you see it in the music industry where somebody sues somebody else for copying a riff, and then it goes through the courts and it's some fucking exhausted magistrate's job to sit there and go like, look, it's just... You both started on F sharp. Like, what the fuck? Like, you started on F sharp. It's a similar structure. Can you just find a way to work it out? It's a song. It's a riff. But this was a little bit more than just, you know, clumsily thrown together like plot points. It really wasn't like, you know, oh, there's a guy and he works in a bookshop and he falls in love with a girl with brown hair and they bond over their books, or so, you know, like forgivably broad, simple plot lines. This was a very, very similar specific plot. And Wired magazine at the time, when they were looking into this Shia LaBeouf plagiarism thing, they picked up on 3 key elements of the story, and they said that the opening monologue was basically identical. Which, I don't know, like, it's weird that you would think you were going to get away with it. Isn't it? It's a little bit. Like in comedy, you hear it a lot in comedy. Like a stand-up comedian will say, well, hang on a second, I've been telling that joke for like 7 years. And I know that you saw me in the club that you used to do. So I know it's like got in your head. And sometimes you can like make the case that, oh, it's like a subconscious thing where it goes in your head. And then later it resurfaces as a memory, but it feels like inspiration. And you don't really remember if you thought of it or you heard it somewhere, but it was just that, like, you could kind of, like, I've heard tales like that before. But this is not that. This is like identical dialogue. So, Wired magazine pick it up. Loads of people sort of expose it. LaBeouf apologises. He says he's a huge admirer of the original author's work. And he meant it to be like a sort of homage. He was inspired by it, but obviously he went the wrong way about blah, 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 blah. And so he apologises. But the apology that he publishes to Twitter, of course, is itself plagiarised. It's a plagiarised apology, which I kind of love. I kind of love that. Like, I'm here for the ballsiness of it. And the weirdness and the self-referential kind of nature of it. The apology itself was copied. So people look like not too kindly on that. And then a bit later on, his next project, like the kind of, you know, the furore kind of dies down. Like maybe he's going through some things, whatever. What's he working on next? A bit later, he says his next project is another adaptation of another work by the same guy, again, that he previously copied. And again, the intro is identical to something that the other guy wrote. Again! So now the other guy is like, this is getting really fucking weird now. Shia LaBeouf, this is oddball behaviour. So he sends him a cease and desist letter. He's like, you're prohibited. If I see you doing this again, I'm going to come for you. So bear in mind, by this point, everyone is like, you know, what the fuck is this guy's deal? Like, this is not normal behaviour. If you want to adapt something, just adapt it. Don't copy it and then apologise, but copy the apology from somewhere else and then come back and then do it again to the same guy. Are you mental? And then after that, you may recall, he tried to turn this all into a piece of performance art. Okay, I promise I'm coming up to an actual news story. Just giving you the context so that nobody can say they were taken out of context. But in his defense, as a sort of a ruse, a way of sort of remarketing this shame and this plagiarism and this whole fucking weirdness, he tries to turn this thing into a piece of performance art. Some of you may remember this. He rented a space in Los Angeles, a sort of blank room, beige coloured walls, if my memory serves, and he just stood there. The Shia LaBeouf exhibition, or whatever it was called, He's just stood there with a paper bag over his head. And on the paper bag, it said, "I am not famous anymore." And then came the memes, where it was him in front of a green screen. Do you remember all of that? Shia LaBeouf in front of the green screen. Loads of people like copied it and sort of sampled it on their memes, and it's just him sort of standing there going, "Just do it! Just do it!" Like that stuff. Again, really weird. Then there was the other meme of him just standing up and like clapping incessantly. That stuff, again, really weird, slightly sinister. And I was like, when all of this stuff was coming out, I was like, how is it possible that this guy is this nuts and he's not married to a Kardashian? Like, how is this? He's that nuts. He is that, like, this feels like Kanye levels of self-obsession and career spiraling, is what I was thinking at the time. Like, Shia's trying to fuck around and be the white Kanye, was my reaction. And then everything died down. I don't remember hearing much about him until this showed up on Reddit earlier. Check it out. Shia LaBeouf runs from courthouse after posting $100,000 bond in New Orleans Mardi Gras battery case. Like, what the fuck? Shia LaBeouf runs from courthouse after posting $100,000 bond in New Orleans Mardi Gras battery case. I was like, this feels like a Bam Margera story. Doesn't it? This feels like a former Jackass star has fallen off the rails. He's got a bit crazy. There's some addiction problems there, probably. Like, it's, you know, you could totally see that, right? Bam Margera runs from courthouse after posting $100,000 bond in Mardi Gras, or, you know, I was like, what the fuck is he doing now? Well, the paper bag head thing was like 10 years ago, wasn't it? Now? Like, how do you escalate from that and you're still alive 10 years later? What the fuck? How are you still escalating? Like, shouldn't this have all, like, his behaviour, his trajectory, shouldn't that have all reached a dramatic ending of sorts by now? Like, it's been a decade. You know, either jail or a black and white portrait of Shia appearing behind the host of the Academy Awards. You know, it's something like that. Loads of clapbacks under the TMZ tweet. Shia LaBeouf dead at 32. Loads of people underneath going like, was he vaccinated? You know, that's sort of where I would imagine it would have ended if you were going to continue escalating. But no, he's still going. Still going strong. Shia LaBeouf. So, it says, guys, it says, even Stevens star Shia LaBeouf was arrested last week following Mardi Gras meltdown. Let's get into it, shall we? It says LaBeouf appeared before a New Orleans judge Thursday for a status hearing more than a week after his Mardi Gras arrest. New Orleans Parish Criminal Court Judge Simone Levine set a $100,000 bond and ordered him to return to drug and alcohol rehab after the actor was charged with 2 counts of battery over an alleged assault that took place on February the 17th during Mardi Gras. Like, how do you get that angry at New Orleans Mardi Gras? Like, it's a big gay thing, isn't it? It's like a massive gay party. How are you going to kick off at Mardi Gras? But that's like starting a bar brawl melee at fucking Peppa Pig World. That's what that's like. It says, according to the Associated Press, LaBeouf was reprimanded for allegedly yelling homophobic slurs while hitting multiple people near the French Quarter last week. Police report LaBeouf allegedly dislocated one victim's nose. Wow, so somebody else wearing that paper bag over their head for a bit, perhaps. Levine also ordered a 39-year-old to submit to weekly drug tests. Star's whirlwind day last week allegedly began with an early morning bar fight. That'll wake you up. 2 male victims assaulted. He was allegedly causing a disturbance and becoming increasingly aggressive at a street business. When a staff member attempted to eject the actor from the establishment, LaBeouf allegedly used his closed fists. That's when you know you're really angry. Your closed fists on the victim several times, police said. Victims reported that Transformers star LaBeouf left but then came back even more aggressive. Multiple people allegedly attempted to hold LaBeouf down outside the business in Faubourg, and he was eventually let up in hopes that he would leave, but he did not. And you know what I take from this? I mean, yes, obviously, the guy's got problems. Yes, I think he's probably a bit bipolar or PTSD, maybe, or something, or whatever. Maybe he needs therapy if he's capable of getting this angry at Mardi Gras. I don't think that's a reasonable reaction to Mardi Gras. I'm sorry. I mean, how are you gonna get that livid? You're like, in the middle of a citywide carnival. You're like, oh, everybody's having an amazing time. They're smiling and dancing. God, I'm irate. Emanating red rage over here, and how happy everybody is. That doesn't make sense. But also, whatever his problems, however distasteful his behaviour, or my own earlier when I tacitly wished a heart attack on Mike Graham. Whatever we're going through, however unpleasant our conduct, we must take a dignified silence in the recognised reality that at least, at the very, very least, guys, we are still not quite, not even close, to being as hateable and unpopular as Professor Matt Goodwin. That's it for the podcast, guys. We're going to wind it down for the lock-in. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do consider joining the Patreon. The YouTube live show is always here on Friday nights at 7:30. You can also sign up on YouTube, right? You can click the join button on my profile. The next in-person meetup I mentioned earlier, that will be coming in the summer, either June or July. This episode now, like once we've done the lock-in, will go on to members only and out to Patreons for 2 days. So if you want those episodes early and on time and on schedule, then do consider signing up. But right now, for the moment, keep it booge, keep it influencer, and let's wind it down for this motherfucking lock-in. All right, here we go.